back to the channel, everybody. Today I was hoping to be a positive video, but doesn't feel that way. 3-0 to Brighton. In the grand scheme of things, a defeat to Brighton normally wouldn't be too bad, depending on your performance. They're a good team. I said in my preview, Brighton's a good team. They have some quality players in there, that really technical players that can do damage to you on the ball. The lineup, whenever it was announced, I thought it's alright. It was the lineup we went with against West Ham. We played well in the first half against West Ham. But before we go into personal, to each player personally and how they played or anything like that, what concerns me is this couple of things. We have played West Ham, Brighton, and Burnley in the last three. We've scored 2 goals in that time and conceded 6. 2 of those teams are relegation contenders. We've beaten 1. Let's be honest with you, West Ham was very unconvincing in the second half. They dominated. We surrendered midfield, and they dominated the second half without actually doing a lot. But they created a very good goal. The Burnley game, we were an absolute mess. I couldn't tell you what our tactics were. And again today, we lined up the same formation, the same players that started the last game, and I couldn't tell you what our actual tactics were. We had we were just overridden the entire game, from start to finish. There was nothing. First half, we didn't press, not once. DCL ran about the front line, but there was no press at all. Nothing. From memory, I think Bogle got a ball across the box. DCL was nowhere near. He's a couple of yards short of it. It was a good ball. It was a good ball. It was maybe it wasn't a great ball, but it was in a dangerous area, and DCL has to try and commit. It was just ahead of him. But I just can't understand for the life of me what we set out to achieve today. Our goalkeeper constantly being put under pressure for kicks. The defenders constantly passing it, and the midfielders. He was unbelievably bad at this today, is passing it back to the keeper and the centre backs. Every time Perry got the ball, it was a couple of times he had to rush his kick. Especially there was a couple in the second half on the left, and he's put it into touch. Thankfully it was into touch, and he didn't make any real big errors in relation to anything like that. Our 2 fullbacks, Bogle made a mistake in the second half for their other goal. I don't want to hang him out because he's been one of our best players this season. Goodmanson, again, at times he's caught lacking, and it's like so frustrating. And the same thing happened a couple of times in the Bournemouth game. He was just caught out, Them 2 men who have been the bright sparks for our season looked very shaky today. They looked very ordinary against a very good team and 2 good players up against them today. Gio Rutter did what he wanted to do. There was no real combativeness. There was nobody closing down in our midfield. Our midfield was lethargic. It was constantly passing back. Every free kick we got. Why not let Perry ram it up the pitch? Get everybody into the box? No. What we'll do is we'll pass it back. It was just repetitive. It was so destroying to watch. It was like, it was watching paint dry. I could not tell you After going 1-0 down, I could not tell you what our actual tactics were. Welbeck scored that goal on the 11th minute. And after that, for the entirety of the first half, maybe we came into it a bit towards the end of the first half, but for the most of that first half, it was just nothing. We are in big need in January of attacking players, or we're going to go down with a whimper. And people can argue with me all they want, and I'll tell you why. Nottingham Forest drew 2-2 today with Man U. Forest are not going down. There are 4 teams in this relegation battle. There's West Ham, there's Wolves, there's Leeds United, and there's Burnley. And we're very, very lucky that results went our way today. That's the 4. And I said before that the reality of it is, if you come 4th from bottom this season, it's a good season. My concern is right now, I don't see us picking up points in the next 5 games. We have Nottingham Forest up next. Sean Dyche has sort of changed them a bit. They're going to be fine. We're not beating Forest. Then we've got Villa. We're not beating Villa. Then we've got Chelsea, City, Liverpool. I don't know, I can't remember what order, but those 3, we're not beating any of them. We're not. Sunderland went to Chelsea and beat Chelsea. We do not have the technical capability of getting points of these sides. And I'm looking at it from the touchline because I don't know what Farke is doing. From a managerial perspective, from the touchline, the sideline today, and the second half against West Ham and the Burnley game, just the last 3 games, we were absolutely woeful against Burnley. Woeful from start to finish. First half against West Ham, as I said in my last video, I thought we were a very, very best first half of the season. By a long way. We totally surrendered the second half of that game. And today, we were woeful from start to finish. Woeful. In and out of possession. Woeful. Our midfield, there was nothing in it. Attack, there was no attack. The most positive thing that I have the entirety of that game was 2 things. Perry making an amazing save towards the end of the game to keep it a 3-0. Taking a deflection and he gets his hand up to it. Big strong hand. Brilliant reactive save. And Stack with beautiful footwork and working the goalkeeper at the other end in the, was it 88th, 89th minute? That's it. I've spoke about the 2 fullbacks. Perry, there's nothing he can do about anything, about any of those goals. And in fact, to be brutally honest with you, we could have been beaten by a lot more. We should have been beaten by a lot more, let's be honest. We created nothing. We conceded chance after chance. Every time they went forward, they looked like they were scoring. I think Rodon and Bijol were just hung out to dry. They were completely isolated. And the runners from the midfield all over the place. It was impossible for them for Rodon or Bijol, and it wouldn't matter. People can argue about Stack or Strike all they want. It wouldn't matter if Pascal was in for either of those 2. The runners coming from midfield and from the wings were absolutely killing them because they had no cover whatsoever. So I don't blame the 2 centre backs. I blame the midfield. Okafor was the bright spark in the attack. I thought Longstaff and his free kicks were on his corners were atrocious. I thought he'd done a couple of decent things, passing wise, but that's about it. I think Ampadu was totally off it. The most he did in the game was take a yellow card. His passing was abysmal. Yeah, I think Ampadu was poor, very poor. I think Tanaka was You know what? Tanaka was pulling the strings in a nothing burger. He was passing the ball and he was busy, but he was busy doing nothing. There was nothing he did that was of consequence. In fact, when he was dropping back to get the ball off the centre backs, Ampadu was standing beside him. So often we had 6 men in the defensive line, or 4 with a 2 right in front. So we're trying to start off an attack, and we've got 6 men here with 11 men to beat. We had no space. We had no chance. We had no penetration, no nothing through the middle. So then you're looking to your wings. So Okafor is the outlet, and he was probably the only place that we were going to get him and Goodmunson down that wing. It's the strongest side, let's be honest. Brendan he's just not at the level. He was just woeful today. I tried to be, I said in my last video, Brendan, you can't take him out of the team after the West Ham game. But I also said there were levels. And let's be honest, Brighton are not a top 6 team. They're a very good team in the Premier League. There's 3 different leagues in the Premier League. You've got your top 6, 7, 8 teams, and then you've got your middle sort of section of that and of the league, and then you've got the bottom 5 or 6 teams. We're in the bottom 5 or 6. We are miles behind Brighton, who are probably towards the top of the middle part of the league. So you're talking about 9th, 10th, 11th. That's where Brighton are in the league, and we are nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. The ECL didn't have a sniff. Can't blame him. He didn't have a sniff. He can run all day he wants, but if he's not getting service, I could play up front for Leeds. I'm about 4 stone overweight. You know what I mean? There's no way I could. You could put Ronaldo up there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If he's not getting the service, he doesn't get the goals. He doesn't get the. People can talk about big chances and big chances. Name me one big chance that DCL got ahead in against West Ham, especially second half. Name me one big chance he got today. He made an actual shot off. Got a shot off today himself. My concern is, as I say, is this: our next 5 games are hard games. I can't see where we're getting points from. That will be 15 league games in. 15 league games in. Burnley play West Ham next. We play Forest. If Burnley beat West Ham, I think it's West Ham or Wolves, it's one of the two. I'll just check. But if Burnley beat West Ham, if it's West Ham, it leaves us potentially. Yes, it's Burnley West Ham. That could leave us potentially sitting 4th from bottom going into the international break if Forest beat us and Burnley beat West Ham, or even get a point, because Burnley's goal difference is now superior to ours. The concern that I have is this: we come back from the international break and we've got Villa and those 3 big clubs, big teams. Where are we getting the points from? We can't afford not to pick up any more points from now to the 14th of December. If we're sitting on 11 points come the 14th of December, we will be in the bottom 3, because Burnley will pick up points. Forest will definitely pick up points. West Ham and Wolves maybe not, but West Ham and Wolves are going to invest in January. There's no doubt about that. Wolves are probably going to be looking to change their manager soon. My question is this: does Farke go? Does he last to the Forest game, or does he get sacked after the Forest game? I think this game today was lost on the sideline before the ball was kicked, purely because I don't understand what our tactics were at all. We didn't press, we didn't try to get forward, we didn't play long balls, we weren't quick in possession, we were so lethargic, we were slow. We lost out in every duel, every one-on-one. We lost every. There was nothing we did right today, And I just don't understand. Why does he wait so long to make a sub? Half time is crying out to get Dan James on the pitch down the right hand side. You have a chance at that because it's one. You go Dan James on the pitch at half time, you have a chance because it's 1-0. Even if you have to play in the counter attack, Okafor and James on the counter attack would be quite electric. No, play Aronson. Tell you what we'll do. We'll play Aronson for the whole game. What did Brandon do that entire game? Other than lie down on the ground. Constantly. Give the ball away. Brandon, thankfully, Brandon isn't. He should not be playing against Forest. If Willie is fit, and I pray to God he is, Brendan Aronson should be 4th choice, 5th choice in the wing. There's absolutely no way that lad can play against Forest, because if I was anyway worried about the physicality of the Brighton have, Forest have a lot more than that, and they're a lot quicker. So Brendan Aronson would be absolutely gobbled up against Forest. Farke has to play the cards he's dealt. I get that, but I also get the fact that he has been completely out-tacticked by Scott Parker against Burnley. He completely surrendered the second half against West Ham, and he was completely demolished today by Herzl, whoever he's called, Brighton manager, today. That's not good enough. And I'm angry. And to be frank, I think it's time we go and we gotta start looking for another man. We're now 10 games in. There's 28 games left of this season. We cannot sit in our hands, or we're going down. I think personally we have got to go and get another manager, especially if not now. We've got to go and possibly wait until the international break. I'll give you a couple of examples here. I spoke to my father about this at length, and to be fair, the two of us are very frustrated. I'm sure, and I see online, everybody is. I know a few boys, obviously, that go to a lot of games. They want them out as well. To be fair, the fan base is turning because we're not seeing anything. There's nothing. There's no passion. There's nothing from the sideline. There's nothing that inspires you, or nothing that inspires the players. There's nothing that I look at as to Daniel Farke and think, yeah, you're doing the right thing here. You're doing the right job. There's nothing. I cannot back this man anymore, because he's getting it wrong so many times. But the last 3 games tells its own story. You've got to look at the details. If we want to back this man, if people want to bang on and back this man for the next 10 games, we're relegated. 5 more games. 5 more. We are gone. We are lucky. We are lucky there's 2 absolute shite teams in this league. And shite, I mean Wolves and West Ham. Because it puts us in a position that we are going to fight it out against Burnley for that 3rd last place. We know Forest going to be nowhere near. That leaves 4 shite teams. We can't afford to take that risk. We've been out of this league for 16 years before, and we cannot do this again. We cannot do this. I was going to say so much other stuff, but I don't think I should, because this could be a 2-hour video. But I'm just angry right now, and I could be swearing, I could be doing everything, but I don't want to say something that I'm going to live to regret. Managers that have come up, Frank Lampard, people can slag him off all they want, but he's cruising with Coventry at the top of the championship. He's got them playing amazing football from last season and this season. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying he's got any more tactical awareness than Daniel Farke has. But his name's come up. Would you want him at the club after the whole Spygate thing? No, I wouldn't. Mancini, Benitez, look, you can go through all the list with Senior. Brendan Rodgers has left Celtic. Do I want him? No, I don't. But there's a lot of managers out there, some with amazing experience. People say about Mancini, he's a top manager, and get him over the line would be amazing. Yeah, it would. But then the same people deride Southgate. Well, Southgate got the 2 finals. Is he the answer? I don't know. But right now, I'm looking at it going, I will give anybody, we need something to change at the club, and I would give it to somebody that is not afraid to play the system or the tactics to the players we have, and not the players we have to his tactics and his system, because that's not working in this league. We don't have the best players in the league. We did last season. That's why we got 100 points. This season, we're one of the worst teams in the league. We've got some really good players, and the problem with those really good players, I think it's a rudderless ship. There's no direction from the sideline. Some of them don't know what they're doing. There's players that should never, ever, ever, ever play for us unless we're in an absolute injury crisis. And right now we're not. We have one man missing. The 49ers have got to do so much more in the window. But we've got to get to that window. And the problem is, I don't trust Farke to get it. I don't trust the 49ers in the window. But I definitely don't trust Farke to get us to the window above the line. And that's what it boils down to. The only thing the 49ers can do now to invest in the club as a whole is to invest in the manager, i.e. sack him and bring in a real top manager. But they're going to have to pay for that. Big time. Will they do that? I don't know, but a lot of fans are obviously. We're I think it's stronger now than it ever has been. The calls for Daniel Farke to go. There's a lot of people not happy. Look online. Online's not the be all and end all. But you can see it in the stands. The Leeds fans started to leave before the game was finished. Listen, I've been ranting on here. There's nothing that I have said that can be challenged, in my opinion, statistically. The last 3 games specifically. Look at those last 3 games, and you tell me I dare anybody to tell me we're good enough to stay up under this manager. The last 3 games: Burnley, West Ham, and Brighton. Give me the positives. Take away 45 minutes of football. Give me the rest of the positives out of those 3 games. Give me the positives out of the Burnley game. Give me the positives out of today. Give me the positives out of the second half against West Ham. In six halves of football. We've played 1 good half. We've conceded 6 goals against West Ham, Brighton, and Burnley. We've conceded 6. We've scored 2. Tell me that's good enough. Thanks for watching. I'll probably be on again tomorrow or whatever. And I'll be doing a review anyway. But please like, comment, subscribe. Everything helps the algorithm and all that. And if you've got to the end here, thank you. Listen, we're all demoralised. We're all down. But I could go a lot stronger. And I don't particularly want to. Because I don't particularly need to. I think everybody else is saying it online for themselves. They all understand the anger and the frustration. But listen, we are Leeds. We've been through ups and downs. We will get through this. But let's hope something changes at this club. Marching on together.